Okay, so here we are, first tee at Moor Hall. Great opening hole, and generally quite a friendly opening hole as well. Par 5, 530 yards, stroke index 11. Just want to really try and talk you through how I would be playing this hole, what you might want to maybe think about as well. As you stand on the tee, have tried to come up with a little bit of a plan. Just because it says it's a par 5, it doesn't mean that you have to hit driver off the tee. As all of you know, we've got this bunker on the left hand side now which gathers a lot of golf balls. It feeds down from the fairway. That's around about 215 yards from the tee. So, you know, I would be looking at that and thinking about, you know, can I get it over that bunker? Can I reach that bunker? But if it's right on the limit with a driver, it might be just as well to hit maybe 3 wood off the tee, 5 wood off the tee, just to then give you a better opportunity. You know, if you're hitting your drive that sort of distance, you're not going to reach this hole in 2 anyway. So it's really important to have a little bit of strategy when you're playing, just to give yourself the best opportunity. The key to golf and the key to lowering your scores is not making more birdies and pars. What's important is that you lower the big numbers. So you've got to get those big numbers off your card. A little bit of strategy. Don't just hit driver because everyone else is hitting driver. Actually think a little bit more about what you're doing. So how do I look at this hole? You know, I can carry that left-hand bunker. I know that obviously the hole shapes slightly right to left. All I try and do is just be very positive with my target, okay? So I'm not just thinking about fairway, I'm picking something out on the horizon there. So the sort of largest tree down on the right hand side there is a great line for me to look at, and that's really what I try to focus on as I obviously step up to hit my first tee shot, just to really sort of try and narrow that margin of error if we can. It puts positive thoughts in your mind well, which is really important. I think tee position is key. You can see that I've teed the ball up very close to this left block. As we know, there's no problem with, as long as the ball is within the tee blocks, there's no problem if your feet are outside. So always try and find the best possible position to tee your golf ball up, okay? It's the one shot in golf that you can actually place the ball in a position, so it's really important to try and make the most of that if you can. So I see this as a right to left shot, I see it as a draw bias drive. To allow me to sort of visualise that shot, it's easier to come to the left side of the tee being a right-handed golfer, so it's going to almost sort of preempt me working up that right side and then hopefully draw it back. So let's see how it goes. My generally pre-shot routine is just 2 practice swings. I'm going to come behind the ball. I'm really just trying to visualise, as I said earlier, just on that large tree in the distance there. Set up to the ball. I generally have 2 looks at the target and then we're good to go. So this might be, obviously on the first, we've hit our tee shot. A position where I see a lot of members obviously end up with their tee shot, they're short of the bunker, particularly if you have that strategy off the tee that you maybe hit a club that's not going to get to there. If you can't get past it, I really can't see the point in hitting that driver. So see this position a lot, sort of 10 yards shy of this fairway bunker. So again, we think about the strategy of the next shot. Don't just pull your 3 wood and think that that's the club to hit, because if we've got downwind, the fairways have been very, very bouncy and been running a lot and adding a lot of distance to a lot of people's shots. That fairway bunker in the distance there looks miles away, but you hit it, you get some run, you could potentially possibly get it to that bunker. So it's just, again, a little bit more thought into what you're trying to do with a second shot. What are you trying to leave yourself? Do you want to leave yourself a 4 wedge? Do you prefer hitting a 4-7 iron? So think about that distance you're going to leave. It's a par 5. You're not expected to make birdie down this hole. A lot of you aren't expected to make par down this hole. So try and have some strategy to how you play it. So I'm thinking I hit my 6 iron around about 200 yards. I think a 200 yard shot down here is going to be perfect. It's going to probably leave me sort of 100 yards in. I probably can't get it beyond that fairway bunker in the distance there. So let's hit 6 iron down. Again, just trying to be a little bit strategic on where I'm aiming. So I'm sort of thinking I'm on a slight draw bias line. I'm sort of thinking between the right hand bunker and the second tee there, something like that. There's lots of room down in that area, so here goes. So 2 looks at the target. And we're good to go. Perfect shot, exactly where I was trying to hit that. That's going to leave me that really nice distance that I like into the green. Okay, so just played that second shot down. Really, you know, absolutely perfect on the 100-yard disc just in front of us here. I've used my laser into that flag. So I've got 110 yards to the flag. Okay, it must be a little bit beyond middle of the green. I've got 107. 107 off the marker. Then obviously a little bit beyond middle of the green. So a little bit downwind here. You know, I'm going to be hopefully dialing in more wedge a little bit from this sort of distance. This is a distance that I really like, around about that sort of 100 to 110. Flag's right in the middle of the green. What I would be saying is if the flag was maybe over the right bunker, for example, is still aimed to the middle of the green. Okay, let's take that bunker out of play. Again, it's going back to that strategy that we talked about, just playing the hole sensibly and having a little bit of a plan of what you're doing. So 110 yards flag. Again, my routine never changes. We're going to go 2 pepper swings. Going to come in behind the ball. Just trying to sort of picture my shot. Throw the ball. There's my first look. There's my second look. Good to go. Okay, so not a great shot there. Got a little bit underneath it. The distance was good. Let's go and see if we can make par, maybe a little bit lucky and make it. So I'm on the green here, maybe 20-25 feet from the hole. The stats and the facts say that I'm not likely to hole this putt, so if I do, it's a great start, and I'd obviously be happy going at the second tee, making birdie. So what am I thinking about coming onto the green? Really just trying to have an overall look at the green, have a look at the slopes. Obviously, the majority of us play the majority of our golf at Moor Hall, so we're quite used to what the undulations do on the greens. Quite an unusual flag position here, sort of, you know, good sort of 3/4 of the way up the green. My ball, you can see, is, you know, perfectly pin high, so the distance on that shot was great. Obviously, just looking for pitch mark, if we could see that. Can't see it at the minute. We will get that in a second. We're just going to mark the ball, and then a lot of different ideas on whether we have flag in or flag out now. I generally, unless it's a longer putt, I generally have the flag out. I just prefer to see more of the hole, but everyone has their own idea. Remember to obviously, if you do see pitch marks on the green, please just obviously repair them. So I'm going to set the ball now. I'm not overly specific on using a line on the ball. It's just something that I've played about with for a long time, and I tend to be more focused on trying to keep my head more still, so I try and use the number on the golf ball as my focus when I putt. So you'll see on the golf ball here that I have the Titleist facing up, the number 1 facing up. It's obviously got my markings on it, but when I'm actually putting, I'm really focusing on the number of on the golf ball. So just looking at my putt, I just basically scan the green, scan the hole, have a little look from behind it, just get a basic idea, so I can see that obviously coming off this slope it's going to work a little bit from right to left. And then I'm really just thinking about pace now with this putt. So I've just come from behind the ball here. So I would say with this putt, there's a little black mark actually down the line there, quite close to the hole, which is about a foot outside it. I think that's going to be a pretty decent start line. Again, a couple of looks at the hole. We put it, blind's great. Okay, so just missed on the low side. So it would have been a real bonus to hole that for birdie after not a great wedge shot. but no pressure on this next putt. Just stand up, knock it in, and there's par. Now we move on to the second. Again, we try and get into a little bit of strategy, thinking about that hole already as I'm walking off the first green. But just try to think a little bit more about how you play holes. Don't choose clubs that other people choose. Choose a club that suits what you're trying to do. It's really important to do that. Keep those big numbers off the card. That's the whole point of this game. It's not more pars, not more birdies. It's just keeping those big numbers off the card.